back, Better Investors, to the BI Breakdown. And today I have with me Ryan Hendrick, and I'm super excited to have him here because we do work together here at the Cash Compound, as you can see on his shirt.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And most people don't engage as much. I can already tell, like, this is gonna be very engaging. So I'm happy. I'm happy that you're here, man. And I know, like, you're kind of newer to infinite banking than myself.
Yeah.
But you're coming into it. You're a part of the team. We're happy to have you. And guys, if you're looking and you're listening now, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, even share this video or leave a comment. We want to talk to you. We want to help you. And we want to answer your questions. And remember that we are doing that $100 giveaway when we reach 500 subscribers on this YouTube channel. We're growing and we're growing fast. So I appreciate everybody that's coming onto the team. We're super excited to have you, just like I'm super excited to have Ryan here today. And I look forward to growing this channel and growing with you in your financial planning. So with that being said, Ryan, without further ado, introduce yourself and give us a little bit more about who you are, kind of what's your role here at the Cash Compound, and how do you help people? Yeah.
So my name is Ryan Hendrick. As Robert said, I'm new to this. So in my past life, I was in ministry. I was a youth pastor for almost 10 years. So I was a youth pastor for 8, and then I worked in children's ministry for about 2 and change before that. So
gotcha.
I'm an old dog learning new tricks, but when I found out about this particular way of doing things, of infinite banking, even though it didn't 100% make sense to me, the concept itself clicked. So my wife and I, when we found out about it, it was about, as of this recording, about 7-8 months ago, somewhere around that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So when we found out about it, we just said, okay, if we're going to do this, let's go ahead and go, pretty hardcore into it. And so I've transitioned to not just practicing infinite banking, but teaching people how to utilize it. This is what I'm pursuing full time, and just trying to help people get on track and recapture and recycle their wealth. That way they can actually have their money work for them as opposed to working for everyone else like we've been taught to do.
Man, that's powerful in what you said. I love this interview already because it's like I don't have to have questions. I like this. So it's powerful in what you said. I think the core concept around infinite banking is exactly that. Mm-hmm. The wealth recapture. Everybody misses that.
Yeah.
For me, I was already doing day trading and investing. So when I came across infinite banking, the first thing I told my girlfriend, I was like, oh man, I know how I can go spend so much money
yeah,
and do it the right way. Mm-hmm. Because I think the biggest issue, like, think about, like, if you go to Walmart per se, and you have the Great Value brand, and you have the on brand product. The reality is, now some stuff I've actually had the Great Value version of, and I'm like, I like this better than the on brand. Mm-hmm. But 9 times out of 10, on brand is going to be better than off brand, right?
Yeah. My Lulus are going to last a lot longer than, the pants that I get at Walmart or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly, right? And so it's like a good pair of shoes or anything like that. You know the difference in the quality, and you get what you pay for. Mm-hmm. When I was first coming across infinite banking, I was just looking for insurance.
Okay.
And then I had to understand, okay, why is whole life insurance more expensive than other types of insurance? And then I had to look into it some more. And then from there, that and through other channels of financial education, I came across infinite banking, read the book, so on and so forth. We're here talking now. But the whole point is that I think when you look on social media and you have a conversation with people, they're always talking about 2 things. They're talking about how they can go make a bunch more money, mm-hmm. right? They got to do something different, make an investment, whatever the case is. Or they're complaining about how much they don't keep in terms of when they spend money, right?
Okay.
Like, so, or they're talking about, well, after I pay my bills and blah, 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 I only have this much money left. Mm-hmm. But the reality is, instead of you trying to focus on making more money or talking about the problem in the situation and looking at it from a perspective of, they have the same methodology. I'm going to get a paycheck. I'm going to pay so-and-so, 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 the house people, car people, the Capital One that I owe, and so on and so forth. And then they save.
Well, and before any of that, I'm going to put it in my bank.
Exactly.
I'm going to put it in my Wells Fargo, and then I'm going to redistribute this money.
Exactly.
Pop.
Yeah, exactly. So I think people don't they don't see a problem with if I make, like we were on the call earlier, and Jay.
That's why I'm bringing it up, because you were literally talking about this earlier.
Right, exactly. So Jay was talking about, well, if you make $100,000 a year and you spend 80, you should be looking to probably put $20,000 in a year into your policy. What I'm looking at and people don't understand is you need to look at that $80,000 a year that you're losing out on and say, do I need to go make $200,000 a year? Or do I need to, or, strive to try to make another 100,000 a year? Or do I need to be trying to strive to cut back on the 80,000? Mm-hmm. And for me, I wanted to live my lifestyle without having to cut back and not enjoy the things I like.
Yeah.
So what I realized what infinite banking will allow me to do is continually expand my lifestyle, do the things I want to do. I just need to do them in a different way.
Yeah.
So I don't
It's
have
a paradigm shift.
Exactly. It's just changing the way you think. So it's, you can still go get this car. You just need to pay for it in a different way. Mm-hmm. You can get that TV. You just need to pay for it in a different way. And so what made me realize is, why are we going to Walmart or any other grocery store or whatever and making a 10 cent or 20 cent decision? Mm-hmm. It's because when you spend the money, you'll never see it again.
Yeah.
If you knew you could see it again, the wealth recapture aspect of infinite banking, you would spend money more freely.
Yeah, and that's why you're buying lucky, or instead of buying Lucky Charms, you're buying charms that are lucky.
Yeah, exactly. So you got
the store brand Magic Stars.
Like you got Fruit Loops and you got Fruity Loops.
Yeah, exactly.
I've had both.
Yeah.
I'm from humble beginnings.
Yeah, same.
Right? So
my mom shot the sales.
So you put the sugar on the cornflakes and made them taste like frosting, right? You see what I'm saying? So
I have done that before. Yep.
Exactly. So like for me, it was like I remember like even like the Rice Krispies, the cereal, when it was just, I forget what they called it, but it wasn't like the Rice Krispies that had like the sugar added or whatever, because it was just like I forget what they call them, but it was just like, it was just bland.
Yeah.
It was very dry.
It tastes very different. More often than not, they don't taste the exact same.
No, very
They
bland.
do taste differently, even if they're made in the same plants. It's a different recipe.
Yeah, and so what I realized is, like, in life, do I want to continue my life making those decisions out of a scarcity mindset, or it's really fear, right? So it's the fear of, when I spend this dollar, it's gone, I can't use it again, it has no other purpose other than its TV or the house or the car or whatever. And so for me, it was like, I felt like I was in fear of spending money, but that's what money is used to do. You got to exchange it for a value of something else. Yeah. But what if I can make my dollars even more valuable? That was the question I was asking myself.
I think part of it is fear. I think the other part of it is we want to be responsible. More often than not, we want to be responsible with our money. Sure, there's people out there who are spending crazily and whatnot, but I'm talking about the normal everyday person. You want to be wise. You want to buy the thing that you think is going to last longer, but you want to do it at the best, amount that you can. So I think, sure, there could be a fear component, but it could also just be people are just trying to be wise and responsible. And the better way to do that isn't buy the thing that's less, that costs less. Sometimes you have to look at the costs, the opportunity cost of, sure, I can buy the thing that's less, but if this thing is $20 more and it's going to last me 2 more years,
the price versus
there's value to that. So yeah, exactly. So I think a big part of it is, yet again, the paradigm shift of looking less at the bottom line number and more at so what's my philosophy here? What am I trying to accomplish, and how can I better achieve that goal? Does that make sense?
No, it made perfect sense to me.
Okay.
Perfect sense to me. It comes back to what I was saying. It's like, how can I take the same income? How can I take the same exact thing that I'm already doing and making it better?
Yeah.
Right? Instead of me trying to go kill myself to do more, or cutting back on the things I already want to do.
Yeah.
So that instead of you trying to sacrifice something, why don't you just simply rearrange how you do something? And so I think the biggest thing for people, one of the hardest things for people is change.
Yeah, absolutely.
And more importantly is changing their mind and their mindset and how they think. So I love talking about infinite banking, but I told myself I'm going to start leaning more and more and more towards an open conversation about finance in general, and then moving on out from there. So how important do you think it is nowadays, in today's time, whether it's financially or just socially, because we were having a social conversation prior to getting on this show here.
Yeah, the shift in culture.
Yeah, how important do you think it is to be an individual thinker and to be adaptive to change, but also to have that foundation, the foundational beliefs and your core concept of who you want to be and who you are?
I mean, that's a loaded question because, of course, you you want that. No, I think that's. I think yet again, it comes down to being wise. For me, I think that God gives me good things, and I want to make sure that I am using those things in ways that are good and making a difference in the world around me. So that's that's a mindset that I really want to focus on when I'm making my purchases, when I'm gaining, doing my work, when I'm getting my money and trying to figure out what do I do with this? Because, a big part of it also is trying to figure out, okay, well, sure, I make a lot of money in some, this month or that month or whatever. What can I do? How can I make the world a better place? How can I give this away in a way that is going to make a positive impact on the world around me? Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense to me. I think some people have the opposite approach. Some people, you like the mad scientists on the movies and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, dang, this dude is super smart. He's coming up with all this new technology and stuff like that, but it's not to it's to the detriment of humankind and the people around him.
Yeah, it's ultimately self-serving.
Yeah, and sometimes don't even have to be self-serving. Sometimes it doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. Like you think like the Joker with Batman, he just wanted to see the world burn. But in reality,
well, sure, but he's an agent of chaos.
Yeah, but and you look at the Joker and the character in itself, like he had so much potential in terms of his ideas and his ability to organize his crime.
Yeah.
Now imagine if he took that to
use that energy on something that actually made
crazy. And so I think that's a lot of people, and it's the same thing with your finances. Imagine if the energy, your economic energy, which is your dollars, that's all it is. It just stores and holds your economic energy. And the reason why, if you could just reallocate and reconstruct more than how you just spend the money, but where it goes before you spend it. Mm-hmm. You can have a completely different outcome. One big thing that I was on, and my pushback against infinite banking was, it still falls into the dollar system. Mm-hmm. So dollars, I'm not sure your background in terms of how much you might know on the subject, but before the Fed, all right, the Federal Reserve System, we were on a gold standard. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, we held it shortly until Nixon took us off.
Yep.
At one point in time, even before that, it was illegal. I believe it was Franklin D. Roosevelt, if I'm not mistaken, made it illegal for Americans to own gold.
Okay. I did not know that. That's interesting.
Later on in 1974, it then became legal again for people to own gold. Mm-hmm. So you went through this transition of trying to get people to come off of real money for a paper dollar, a currency. Mm-hmm. So if you notice, they're not hiding anything from you. They call it a currency. Mm-hmm. We call it money.
Yeah.
Now, when I have conversations now, I catch it every time in my brain, but I try not to be OCD about it and a stickler. Yeah. But I catch it all the time, like, I'm calling dollars. I'm calling cash money. It's not money. Yeah. Because it's
a means of exchange.
Exactly. But that's what money is.
Yeah.
But here's the principles of money that currency doesn't have. It has to be a store of value. So you're trying to store your economic value inside of dollars, which devalue over time due to inflation. Mm-hmm. So you have to put your dollars to work for you so they can work just as hard for you as you do for them. Hence why we want to do infinite banking, because it puts it somewhere where they can grow. Yeah. But so many people get caught up on that. What's the interest rate?
Yeah. What's the number?
How much is going to grow?
Yeah.
So on and so forth. This is not an investment. Think about it. Because you save so little, that's why you go take the big risk and you're looking at APY and a high yield, because you end up with so little of what you actually keep from your money that you have to introduce that big risk in order to make up for the disadvantage that you're now at. But
I think it's also the American mentality of, I should be able to get this quickly. And I think a lot of,
the microwave mentality,
because a lot of the calls that I get, and I'm not throwing shade, but it's just one of those things where a lot of people come at it from the mindset of, well, I want to make as much as I can, as quick as I can. And for me, one of the biggest things about infinite banking that made it attractive to me was you're playing the long game. It is conservative growth, but it's guaranteed continuous growth, and it requires discipline and it requires consistency. But when you continue to do those things, it will quote unquote pay dividends. It will grow. It will consistently grow in a way that benefits you. But you got to stick with it, and you can't look at it as, well, how can I buy this car tomorrow? You might be able to. You might be able to throw that much money in there, but it might be something that's going to take you a little bit of time, and you have to learn how to bank with it in a lower way. It goes
back to the thinking too, though, Ryan. So think about it. It's nothing more than your banking system, just like you have now. When you go to the bank, you don't have enough to buy your car. What do? You finance it to the bank, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they take my money, your money, a bunch of other people's money. They give it to this person for a car.
Yeah, and then they charge you on that and get interest.
And if you pay it back, you don't keep any of the money, pay back plus the interest. But in your own banking system, you pay the money back, keep the money plus the interest. I try to get people to reconstruct how they think, because at the end of the day, following up to what I was saying, is because of inflation and all these things, it's okay to get growth, but you have to have flow. You have to have motion. Yeah. Because
your money has to be doing something that's working for you.
It has to be used to purchase things now. Because if not, even if you get a great return on your investment or whatever, you still, it's called the law of diminishing returns. And that's what we call it in economics. That means that it does not matter at some point in time that if something is increasing, if you have something that simultaneously increases at the same time. So it does not matter if you can make 25% APY every single year if the real rate of inflation is a compounding effect of 16% every year.
Yeah, because that dollar is weaker and weaker as it continues to grow.
So all you're trying to do is keep up. But you never actually surpass this person in the race. You're just trying to keep up. Yeah. You're always going to be second to inflation. You're always going to be second to the price of the things you have to buy. And by the way, too, Cody Perry, who got on I think you got on the phone. That was my man's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he told me, he's like, oh, Ryan, call. I'm like, Ryan. Oh, man. I'm like, really? Come on, man. Nah, but it's all good.
He was a cool dude.
It's all good. No, it's, how much do you want to do for his premium?
I don't remember. I don't remember off the top of my head.
That's good, because if it was significant, you would have remembered. You would have told me.
Well, that and, I don't know if I want to. If you're putting it on social media, I don't know if I want to throw people's numbers out there.
This guy, I don't even think that was his real name.
Okay.
Yeah, half the people, surprisingly enough, people don't do. I'd be like, why? Why wouldn't you use your real name for a business interaction? But it's weird. It's weird. I'm like, dude, but this guy, he's like, nah, I already talked to Ryan. I'm like, because originally he gave me the wrong number.
Oh, okay.
So he had to reschedule.
So he signed up with you and then rescheduled?
No. He never signed up anything.
Oh, okay,
I just had a conversation with him through email because I never could call him because he gave the wrong number.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But to me, interestingly enough, I think one thing too is like the reason why I'm so open is because I think that financially, people are uncomfortable about stuff because they think inside of a way to where it's almost, how can I be hurt or affected? So now, modern day time, we got all these lawyers. Somebody hit your car, you call this number. So on, so like everybody's trying to get a lawsuit or something like that, or somebody's trying to take something from you. But the reality is, the reason why I want to be more open and transparent, like if you think about earlier when JD was talking, he was like, yeah, I got about 25% of my wealth into my infinite banking system. The reason why I want to be more open and transparent, especially like with myself, and I'll tell anybody how much premium I put in and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I don't mind either.
I need people to understand that I don't care what your income is, 100% of your dollars go to the bank right now. So think about it. Like, we're not asking how much you make, where you work, what's your address, social security number. We're saying, hey, how much do you pay yourself? Yeah. Right? And so that's the thing about it is that
and how much is too much going through your bank?
It's never too much, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you put 100%, you have 100% allocation. So I tell people all the time, like, if your bank account was an investment account, would you put all your money in there?
No, if it could rise and fall with the market?
I wouldn't put all my money in there because I know that it's a chance I need to pay a bill and so on. So exactly. Hence your banking system here. When you start your own banking system through whole life insurance designed for banking, we got a good old R. Nelson Nash here talking about it. It doesn't rise or fall with any market. It's a guaranteed contract based on an interest rate that is set on the performance of the insurance company. So it's not.
And these insurance companies have been around for a very long time. Well, they're very good at what they do.
What's crazy is people historically don't actually think. Like, they don't understand that guess what? The stock market is not 50. It's just now turning 50 years old. How many people know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's very, very new. The dot-com bubble in the early 2000s, that's when you first get your like New York Stock Exchange. Have you seen the Wolf of Wall Street?
I'm familiar with it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. The Big Short as well.
Still need to see that one. It's funny. Jonah and I were talking about this yesterday. Financial business movies. That's a weak spot in my movie.
Bro, Michael Burry
lexicon
is the GOAT.
Yeah.
He shorted the housing market.
Now, I'm familiar with what it's about.
Michael Burry created, so I'm a day trader.
Yeah.
Michael Burry, guys, for people that's out there to day trade, you need to all go follow Michael Burry on Twitter and like thank this man. He created options trading.
Okay.
It was not a thing. Before that, you just had like Forex trading, which is foreign exchange trading. I know for people out there, I'm not talking about some group that you go join and then you go invite other people to join. We're not talking about multi-level marketing or quote unquote what people like to call it a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
I don't like to call it that because I understand it for what it is, but still, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Forex, the foreign exchange market in itself. So, with that being said, though, you didn't have options trading, so you couldn't short something before Michael Burry.
Okay.
So if you seen the price of corn going up, you either invested in the price of corn where it was at because you thought it was going to go higher, or you didn't invest at all and you waited for the price to come back down. He said, "Hey, I want to short the housing market. I want to short this." It's like, this is crazy. This is crazy.
So for I haven't seen the movie. So when you say he's going to short it, just give me the basics of what that means.
Yeah. So what it was is he wants to place a wager or a bet, almost basically, that the price, the housing market as a total, and they call it market capitalization, will begin to decrease and go down in value.
Okay.
And by him shorting that, he's making money on something that is negatively affecting and impacting millions of Americans.
Yeah.
But he's making money on the way down. Right? Now, when you're a savvy investor, you know how to make money on the way down and the way up. But the reality is he took that same concept and brought it into trading.
Okay.
Trading and investing are two separate things. So it's not that he thinks real estate will never go back up again, right?
He just saw the trend for what it was in the moment.
He saw the mortgage-backed securities, which is when, long story short, they take a bunch of debt, ball it all up into a nice little bundle or something. Like if you ever seen a junkyard or whatever, they crush a bunch of cars and stuff, and then it comes out like it's one block.
Yeah.
Right? That's what a mortgage-backed security is. It's a bunch of bad debt all bundled up and sold to somebody.
Yeah.
So collection agencies, they buy debt off of other people that you owe, right? A mortgage-backed security has the same functionality, in which case the debt is being sold. But guess who it's being sold to? For the people that got 401ks, IRAs, Roth accounts, so guess where it's being sold? Pension plans.
Oh, really?
Vanguard, which is the largest qualified plan company in America.
Okay.
It's being sold to the everyday companies, the everyday individual, basically, indirectly.
Okay. Huh.
So they take it on, they buy this bad debt, they buy the mortgage-backed security because it's still them owning people's mortgages and so on and so forth. But the reality is, when things go bad, what's happening is, and Robert Kiyosaki talks about this inside of his book, Fake, they're separating the people that take the risk and the people from the people that are affected by the risk.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So
somewhat.
To break it down at its core, imagine if I take a bunch of things, oh, this is kind of okay, well, this ain't so good, this is horrible. I package it all up and I give it to you. Think about buying a used car.
Yeah.
A used car is a perfect
example
of
first thing you ask is there anything wrong with it?
I know what's wrong with this car.
Yeah.
But when I sell it to Ryan, bro, it rides smooth. Look at them rims.
All right, I'm not buying a car from you.
You see what I'm saying?
I know this now.
This is the reality, though. This is the reality. Look at them rims, man. Look at this and that. If you don't get up under there, like most people don't know, like a car from the north. If you look up under there and you see
a lot of rust,
you can't buy that car. You see what I'm saying? Like certain stuff people don't know to look for a check, and that's what a mortgage-backed security is being sold to an individual to a company that has individuals that invest with that company who don't know any better.
Okay.
The company knows.
Yeah. They're going to come out on top.
Exactly. But the individual doesn't understand and know that. And that's why I tell people all the time, I would never do indirect investing. I would only do direct investing. So if I was going to go the qualified plan route, I would do a self-directed IRA. Why? I don't understand. Think about this. When will it ever be a good idea to turn complete control of your money over to somebody else, let them do the investing for you, and you just make all the profits? They're not investing for you for no reason.
Yeah, they need to.
So even if you are making a profit,
there's a slice of this pie that they need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And think about this too, though. If you lose, did they lose? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with IULs as well. There's no chance for you to lose. There's a floor. Well, you're right. That's right. But the cost of your insurance will go up over time because you're paying all these brokers fees and stuff like that. And in the event that the stock market does not go up for that year, which, by the way, the stock market has been at a negative for the past going on 2.5 years now.
Okay.
It's been at a negative since it rebounded. It did a K-shaped recovery, what we call it, aka a dead cat bounce, is what we call it in the trading realm. Since it did that, it has been falling, and has yet to recover. So with that being said, if you last 2.5 years, if you look at it, you have not gained anything if you have an IUL, which is an index universal life policy. It can't be used for banking because, like I said earlier, would you put all your money into an investment account?
Yeah, it's dependent on the rise and fall of the market.
The reason why, like I said, when it comes to premium and talking about what we do and so on and so forth, I would tell anybody is that I'm looking to put 100% of my income into my infinite banking system.
So where do you think you're at right now? J-Do said he was 25.
I'm about 20. No, I'm more than 25.
Okay.
I'm more than 25%.
That's good.
Yeah. So I want to say I'm about 35%.
Okay. Nice.
Oddly enough, they don't know this, but it's because with family members and stuff like that, and putting through some more policies, the end goal for me is 100% because I finally, and Jonah sat here and said, he was like, I put all, if not, he said most, if not all of my income in it. And I remember it was, but I was on the Cash Compound, not the Cash, the Banking Bros channel. And I was sitting where you're at, he's sitting where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him like, crazy. You see what I'm saying? Like, right? No.
100%.
I don't put all my marbles in no basket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now to understand the banking system, I'm like, well, I do put all my money into the regular bank.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if they're going to be open tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm cool with giving someone else all my money.
You see what I'm saying? And then I had to think about it from the perspective, too, is, well, like R. Nelson Nash was saying, like, and I was saying, too, before, it's like the flow of money. Well, if you think about it in the sense of you're never going to use it or take it out, you're thinking about it in the wrong way anyways. You need to be taking this out to make investments. You need to take it out to buy land, buy assets, invest into your business, so on and so forth. And if you do these things, you don't have all your wealth in infinite banking.
Yeah.
You have your wealth right there in your hand.
Yeah.
You can go buy gold and silver.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you have your bank working for you.
Exactly. And so, that's a big thing for me. Now, kind of to wrap things up and into what we were saying, though, is, what I know you said you're still kind of fresh in infinite banking.
Yeah.
But what really triggered, I know you talking about the wealth recapturing and so on and so forth. What really triggered you to actually want to do it outside? I remember when you first were here, and I think you were talking with Jonah, maybe,
probably,
or it was Jeremiah, one of the two, and they were trying to break it down to help you understand it. You didn't have a policy at the time. And
they were just trying to get me to understand the concept and everything. And I probably just watched the presentation and I was giving him my questions.
Exactly. And so,
speaking of, they did the exact same. We in our calls we always say, if you watch this presentation, they did the exact same thing with me. I watched the presentation and that gave me the information for that conversation.
Lucky you, because when I started, it was some charts and and it was a book.
Yeah, exactly. You just read that book and tried to make it happen.
And exactly, you tried to make the best of it. And so and I know you haven't. Have you met Brent?
Yes.
Okay. Well.
Haven't had in-depth conversations and stuff, but I met him.
Well, when you have an in-depth conversation with Brent, then I want you to think about how that's how I got started. With an in-depth conversation. And I love Brent to death. But like the conversation that you had with Jeremiah and Jonah and the conversation I had with Brent was more so like, yep, you read that book? Sound good, don't it? You ready to go? I'm like, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
But it was
ready to dive.
Yeah. Like, you ready to get in this thing? I'm like, yeah, I guess. But that's why I had to follow up with Jonah and Jeremiah and the Banking Bros and the Cash Compound as a whole. You already know it's educational. And
yeah, you don't arrive.
Exactly. It's extended education. And I'm not going to say that it's not the same thing with the money multiplier and what it was with Brent, but with Brent, he's so busy that it's not like, you know, oh yeah, Brent, I'm gonna keep you on this phone for an hour.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
I got 15 minutes for you. Here go my good 15 minutes. I'm gonna allocate.
Use it wisely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna allocate this time toward it. Make sure you ask the right questions, so on and so forth. And from there, if you need some more help, I know some people that can help you out. The Cash Compound, so on and so forth. So and that led me to where I'm at today. But like, what really did it for you? Where you was like, I'm not doing it because somebody told me about it. I'm not doing it because they do it. I'm doing it because I want to do infinite banking.
So I think it comes back to I like the recapturing and recycling my wealth. That was a big part of it. Being in control of my dollars. That was a big part of it. Coming to the realization that for me, again, I was in ministry for 10 years. I had a 403B and just looking at that and going, I'm giving my money to someone else and just hoping that they can make more on it for me so that I can retire. And then I looked at my 403B, and in 2021, I lost 10 grand in there. And so not only did I lose 10 grand, but I lost any growth that I could have had that year on that. And I've lost, you know, I'm gonna have to make more. The drawdown effect. I'm gonna have to make more in order to get back where I was.
It's kind of like it puts you back.
Yeah,
it's like it took the time away.
Yeah,
that you were in it.
Exactly. And then the other part of it is I am just in this place where I'm definitely questioning a lot of what's around me, of a lot of the things that I've been told. This is wise for you. For, you know, the 401k, the 403b, these qualified plans where, again, I give my money to someone else. I don't have control over it. They do. And like you were saying, you know, even if I lost 10 grand that year, kind of makes me wonder, the company that was holding on to it, did they make money on my money
how are they still
year?
a company?
Yeah, exactly. How are they?
Think about it. If everybody, you didn't lose by yourself. A lot of people lost. How does the company still doing good?
Yeah. And that's the thing. And you know, I'm an old dog learning new tricks. So I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I'm learning education, but all of that coming together kind of made me come to the point where I said, yeah, I think I want to be more in control of this. I'm not a micromanager. I don't need to do every single little thing, but I think I need to have that paradigm shift and make my money work for me.
You don't have to build the car, but you need to be able to drive it.
Yeah.
Got you. I like that, man. The control aspect of it as well, that was huge for me. So, man, Brian, you know, thanks for sharing your experience and coming on. I know the viewers and people listening and watching now are going to enjoy hearing this and knowing, you know, kind of hearing from somebody that just kind of got started, what made you get started, and hearing your journey. And last, name a few things you've done with your policy.
So initially what I would do is I would pull out a loan, pay my mortgage, and then I'd pay myself back with a little bit of extra. So that's what I was doing initially. For me, again, I believe in this so strongly that I closed my 403B, and I've been funneling that every month. I go to the insurance company and say, how much extra can I put in? And they say, this is how much you can put in.
It comes back to what we were saying earlier, that you're not doing anything different. You're just changing how you do things.
Yeah. So I'm putting, sure, I paid penalties on my 403B, and I'm going to have to pay taxes as income.
It sounded like you was penalized anyways.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's like, okay, well, you know, I take the hit on the front end, but if I can get my money working for me, then I'm going to come out on top.
Exactly.
So there's that. And then recently my wife and I, we are investing in Windows for the house. So we took out cash value so that we could pay for those windows, and then we're going to be paying ourselves back.
Does it not sound like a conversation I was just having where I said, you might make the money, but you don't actually control the spending?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, we both saw the need for it.
Now,
She
you
cares
might want
more
the
about it than
window.
I do, but
Okay.
I look at it like, okay, if we update the windows, because our goal eventually is for this property that we own to be a second house and we rent it out. So there's also the investment aspect of it of we need to doll this thing up so that we can actually get someone
Right.
else to live in
Right.
there. So it's both and. She's definitely the force that drove it, but it wasn't like me being the passive husband who just says yes, dear. It was
Oh, no.
okay. Yeah, this makes sense to me.
Not even so much of that though.
We were talking about weak men, and I just
Here's what it
Not
comes.
weak.
No, not even that. What it comes to is when it comes to buy the window, you got to get windows at some point in time. Like me, I'm hearing about it at home because like, look at the shades. It's missing one and all this. So I gotta go get the shades, right?
Yeah.
But it's like when you go get the shades or you go get the window, what kind of window you getting? What kind of shades you getting? You see what I'm saying? That's when you start seeing like, okay, I see how.
But again, there's something to be said. In some ways, there might be excessive spending, but there's also something to be said for, well, if you get a quality product, then that product is going to last you for 20 years as opposed to 10.
Exactly. Some more expensive shades probably wouldn't break so easy, right?
And that's, you would hope. Sometimes the cheap thing is fine.
If you stop snooping, they'll stay up. You gotta actually stop minding your business and stay in the house. And we won't buy no more.
Stop watching the neighbors and watch yourself.
You, like you trying to check to see where I'm going, But yeah, man. So, like I said, dude, I appreciate it. And
hey, thanks for having me on. This was fun. Good conversation.
It's different. It was different what you thought it was gonna be, huh?
I didn't know what to expect, Robert. I never know what to expect with you.
I told y'all to get some fireworks. So yeah, man. Like I said, dude, I appreciate you coming on, Ryan. Thanks so much for the conversation, opening up, letting people know. I think it's important for more people to understand. You're not alone. A lot of people are doing filmmaking.
Yeah.
It's like they think that we're like. I know it's not a lot of us. But we out here, we're not some secret society or something. So,
and that's something I appreciate about Cash Compound is we're definitely in the beginning stages, but we're trying to create a community. We're trying to create a community where all of us can be learning and growing together, and that's awesome.
Exactly. So, guys, thanks for watching to the end. Make sure you like, leave a comment, and even if you haven't already, subscribe. Turn on your notifications so that you can get the new content that's coming out. Like I said, we will have a $100 giveaway when we reach 500 subscribers on this channel. So make sure you definitely subscribe. Even share this video with some people that you might know and love. And from there, we will see you guys inside the next one. Better investments equals a better future. And until next time.